Okay, welcome. I'm glad you can make it today. We've got a lot of deals here for the RV world. I apologize for those of you that tried to tune in yesterday. We had some storms just as I was going online, and it knocked our power out. So, unfortunately, that's one of the risks of going live. But I love going live with you all because I get to interact, and so it's well worth the wait. So, with that, I wanted to welcome you if you're everyone is anything like me. I love the camping season. I love to get out there, and it's kind of nice that they put Amazon Prime Day right in the middle here. So to get everything out of the way up front, I do have an Amazon associate account, so there will be links in the description for everything here. If you click on that, it's no extra cost to you. It does help the channel out a little bit, though, so we appreciate that. If not, we're just here to give you the best deals that we've found. So I've spent yesterday, actually the day before, getting my initial deals, and I've added a few since I wasn't able to go live last night. I was able to spend some time during the day today to get even more on there. So with that, we got a lot to go over. Let's go ahead and jump right in. 1 second here. So our first item is not a Amazon Prime Day deal, but I just wanted to bring up to people Campco, which has been doing water drinking hoses for a long time, now has a flat hose here that I've been using the flat hose for a little while. It takes up a lot less space, but it's interesting that they have now. They do have 20% off right now at $18.38. It's not quite a Prime deal, but it's definitely worthwhile taking a look at. So that will get us started today. So again, as we go through, if you want to go down below to the links, they'll take you directly to Amazon. Okay, we're going to take a little out of order just because Amazon's not quite cooperating. But stick around till the end. We do have some very interesting ones coming up here. So inside, dealing with your organization, they have a unit here that's actually clips from your sink faucet to your soap dispenser, and this will allow you to keep it from moving around when you're going, for those of you that don't like to constantly have to go back and forth or between storing and putting it back together. So this is on Prime Day sale. It's just under 20% off, normally $12.95. It goes for $10.47. So coming a little slowly here, but one of the ones I did want to show you in the fresh water area is Campco water filter. See, this is a standard filter, but it comes with the little hose part here to keep it from crimping. And that right now, if you don't have a water filter system built into your RV, you definitely want something to filter water, because city water is not like city to your house always. Water quality can be different at different campsites. So we use this as well. Actually, I have a two-stage filter, but I do use this going into there, and it's currently at 56% off at $15.25. So that's definitely a good deal if you need those. And most camping seasons, I go through a couple in the season, so I definitely would pick that up myself. The next item, sticking with water, is the hose splitter. This is one I have. It's been great for us as far as being able to turn the water on and off. The reason why I have a splitter is because I have a black tank flush, so I use one hose to go to the black tank flush and one to go to my drinking water, because I don't want to keep switching back and forth. So I have one like this. It makes it easy to switch water, and that's 22%. That's not a huge amount, but still every little bit helps. So if you don't have something and you want to be able to split off, or maybe you aren't using black tank flush, but you're using an outside hose or something like that to spray things down, this is helpful because you don't have to use your drinking water hose to get that type of stuff. The next one, still sticking within our water area, is a water flow meter. Shown this previously at times on our site. This is one I use especially with the black tank hose or black tank flush to measure the amount of water going in. So here's the water flow meter. It is actually at 44% off right now, which is a great price. This is much better than what I got it for. So it's $16.79. You really can't beat that price overall. So the dehumidifier, this helps if you're dealing with one, with your air condition not working as well. The more humidity there is in there, the harder it is to work. But also in the off season, keeping it down. So this particular one has 95-ounce water tank. Will generally dehumidifies 1,000 square foot, which is bigger than a lot of RVs, so that should help out. Look at this price here. It's a 43% off right now, so $62.69 instead of $109.99. And as you can see, there's a lot that you can do with a small little unit here. So it's not that big overall. It's basically probably about tabletop size. Does have auto shut off and LED. Your water dispenser, which I'm trying to bring up for you right now, that's $760. So it's not a huge amount off. It's normally only $943, but a lot of people like using this as a one push button to get your water in there. And that way you aren't lugging around the 5-gallon. Your other item, getting into disposal now, Camco, the Rhino Flex RV sewer kit has been very popular. They've been doing this for quite a while. This one comes with the elbow here, so you can clearly see as it's going out here. With that, at 50% off, it's normally $62.99. This now is on sale for $31.42. So that's a great deal if you need it. They do have different sizes as well. This is the 15-foot. Pay a little bit more for the other ones. Another item that's on sale, especially if you use the TST by Camco, the drop-ins for your black tank. Those are also almost half off. It's 42% off right now with Prime Day deal. Now it's on $14.44. So these are some of the things that you might get on a regular basis. So that's very helpful for you. I definitely would recommend on that. And as you're going to see, some of these items may not necessarily completely be on the Prime deal day, but there are good deals nonetheless. For example, one we did a video on not that long ago, which was the Safiner aluminum RV bumper end cap. You can see that on our channel for a recent review we did on that. That's on sale as well for Prime Day. They're already fairly lowly priced to begin with, so they didn't have to take a lot off, but instead of their normal $30, $29.99, it's on sale right now for $26.58. You'll find other items they have on sale as well for Prime Day. They generally are already at kind of a low price point to begin with, so they don't take a lot off for Prime Day, but it's definitely worth checking out. And if you want to see the particulars, we actually did a review on this a couple weeks ago, and it's currently on our channel here. So as you can see here, so it's only about 11% off, but that's still, like I said, they normally start off fairly low price to begin with. So we just did a video, as I mentioned, on this. One of the nice features I like about this is you have this D-clip. They'll clip on so that your sewer hose doesn't push open the cap that you have there. So that's always very nice. Some of your other items you might find is your propane tank gauge. They have a 2-set for that. And this is nice if you're using your actual propane tanks for it. So this will tell you what the level is in your tanks rather than wait until one just completely empties. And this is 23% off right now at $19.99. So that's a pretty good deal for you if you're looking for that type of item right now. Also, one thing that people constantly complain about in your RV is the gas detector. Those things don't last extremely long. They'll last a few years and then they'll go bad. And then you've got it beeping in the middle of the night on you if the battery's gone bad or you're having to deal with issues with that. So I found on here the combination gas and carbon monoxide detector. This is a plug-in. This can be plugged in at home or in the RV. It does say it also will go off if there's CO detector or propane, methane, etc. So this is a good thing. I've had people where they've said that their carbon monoxide in their monitor in their RV's gone bad and it's beeping. They've had to disconnect, but then in my feeling, you're a little unsafe until you get that replaced. So this is one that you could plug into one of your outlets as long as you have power to your outlets, and kind of tide you over until you get another one. And for Prime Day, you got 21% off, so $26.85. So it'd be a good backup for you, in my opinion. Another thing that we've used quite a bit here are these roll-up over-the-sink drying racks. They're nice because they're extendable. You can do with different size sinks and everything. And this is much better than we got. I got it, I think, on a Black Friday, and I didn't get this good here. So 34% off at $664. We love ours because our particular sink didn't come with, I know some of the brand new ones will have a sink cover on one side for like cutting board, and then on the other side you'll have a roll up like this. Ours didn't come with that, so this is great to have on board there too. Getting back into your organization as well. In my RV, we have no drawers in the back there. We have a Class C. There's no drawers in the back for clothing. You just have your actual closets. Mine's a little wider than my wife's. My wife's is fairly thin, so she got one of these type that have the hanging in there that you can put in, and she's been able to fold up a lot of her clothes that would normally go in drawers and put them in there. So you have the type that just have the drawers underneath, and then you have the type that actually hangs from the rack in your closet, has the drawers, and has another actual rack with it. And so this one actually will allow you a little bit more to work with. So here's the one I was talking about. My wife has one that's on sale as well. That's just these shelving, if you will. But this one also has a rack to it, which is 33% off right now at $19.99. So if you're looking for something like that, you definitely can't beat a deal like that for Prime Day here. One other item that is kind of fun, we have a step stool as we come out of our RV. So having a little mat to clean your feet and stuff is helpful, but this one kind of gets in the spirit here with the welcome mat that has welcome to camp, quit your bitchin'. It says if you're not a happy camper, take a hike. So there's a few different humorous ones you can get there. This is 20% off. Normally it's like $20, so you're getting it for about $16 here. So if you're into that type of humor while you're out on the campsite, you might want to pick that up. Another thing that we just picked up this year that we're going to be using quite a bit is this sunshade for the awning. It hooks into your actual awning right there, and you can stake it down here. That gives you a little more shade from that sun as it's rising or setting, depending on which side of the your RV campsite is facing, whether it's east or west. This is a pretty good price. At $31.26, that's 37% off. You can't go wrong with that. One of your other items that we've seen as well here is your bath rugs. This one actually, you have a little bit more absorbent for outside of the shower when you step out. This is 40% off right now at only $8.92. So if you worry about getting out of the shower, especially with those cramped spaces, to be able to dry off and everything, this is a nice buy here for you as well. So this one is one of their lightning deals here. They've got a certain amount that they can claim up to that. What this one here is a double folding camping table. The nice thing about this is this actually will close up. So you have shelving underneath here, and that will allow you to carry it actually in the bag as shown there, because it folds down in the middle here, but it gives you a lot of area that you can actually store stuff and not have it out in the open there. So the Eagle Peak double outdoor folding camping table, as I mentioned, has 3 tiers. It allows you to end up closing it off, and it will also allow you to fold up to go into a folding pack like that. So another version of your camping folding table also has the compartments underneath that you can package up. So that's 20% off, not quite as much as the other one, but depending on your size needs, this may work out for you as well. Another item, if you're looking for extra seating space, one of the things my wife noticed recently is a lot of times you have sleeping room in your RV for a certain number of people, but there's less seating at the table than there is sleeping room. So for example, our RV, if you have everything out, we can sleep up to 6, but there's 4 at the dinette. So one thing that helps, or if you just don't want to sit at the dinette, is these little side tables. They can stack by the couch very easy. And for Prime Day here, they're 40% off at $35.84. So that's a pretty good deal if you just want to sit there, or you can have it at home too. It comes very easy right next to or right in front of without taking up a ton of space for you there. I've shown these RV dinette cushion covers that stretch and protect before. One of the things that I do like about this one, though, is this does have a kind of a leather look to it, which is nice because I've got cats at home and in our bricks and sticks. And unfortunately, I can't have leather there because they'll tear the leather up. So having it in the RV to where we can kind of cover it as a protection is kind of nice. It's 21% off at $28.43. So that's a good use for us right there. You also have, if you ever travel and deal with the stuff you don't want to take off the counter while you're moving, but you're worried about it sliding around, these Gorilla Grip drawer, shelf, and container liners work wonders. We put this on our counter for some of the stuff that we don't want to move, like the coffee pot and stuff like that. And the weight of the item you're setting down will actually stick and keep it from moving around on top of your counter. So at 30% off at $19.59, this is a great buy on there. Another thing that you absolutely can't do without is fire protection. There have been a number of stories I've seen lately and pictures of RVs having issue with fire. I know we keep fire extinguishers, but they aren't always necessarily in every spot we need them. I'm going to get one of these for near the kitchen, near the stove. What this is a emergency fire blanket, and what you do is you immediately cover up whatever's caught on fire here. So, for example, if you have an issue with something catching here, you have different types of stuff, and you consolidate down very easy. And at 30% off, almost 29% at $9.99, it's definitely worth your safety and peace of mind there. Another thing for the kitchen, these Swedish dishcloths, come in a 10-pack. They're usable, and they're almost half off again here. So you got 42% off of this at $9.87, and reusable. That's definitely a sustainable feature there, so that you can wash them and reuse them. They're kind of like a sponge cloth, so they cover up or actually pick up spills and everything very easily. So it's very nice to have and not have to constantly get rid of a lot of paper towels and everything there. Another thing, I came across this as we're looking in our current setup. We actually have a container, small container with a top that's similar to this, but it's just a regular container that has the handles, and we'll pull the trash bags out of there. That's how we keep our trash bags. But this looks like it will do the job and take up a lot less room. So at 32% off at $19.77, I think we're going to go ahead and get this one and let you know how this works out for us, especially in the small space I have under the sink in our RV there. Another thing that's nice, this is designed specifically for camping, but what is RV other than just camping? So instead of having a lot of different things, this is a set that comes in a bag, and it has all your cooking utensils you can need. Up in here, you have your forks, you have your shears, knives, can opener, has a set of 4 for knives, forks, spoons, and other things you may need for cooking. At a third off, $33.49. Can't beat that overall. So, also in the kitchen, if you don't want to get that, but you need for cooking, we have a small knife block. Basically, I know all of y'all have had knife blocks at home, but this is a small one that will fit in small spaces such as RV. And at 41% off, $19.98. This is very good overall there. So, collapsible. This isn't much of a percentage off, but I needed to throw it in there anyway because storage space is always a premium, and we love these collapsible types that you can store in a very small space when you aren't using it to hold food. So this is only 8% off, but still, it's a little bit more than what it normally is. If you miss it during Prime Day, though, I definitely would get it on other times as well. But it's definitely worth being in the list here. The under the drawer organizer, as I mentioned, under the sink, we don't have a lot of space. This is nice because it can go in place, and it's a 2-tier that allows you a lot of openings for how you're going to organize stuff. And you see it's got the little feet here, so it doesn't necessarily require to be screwed in. So you can move it around as you need to. You can adjust how it's set up. They've even got it on a counter here. I personally like doing under the sink because your sink, you normally have larger space than what you're actually using. So 32%, you can't beat that. We already started off with the holder for the soap swivel caddy. And this was the over the back of the door As you see, you can put different things on. It works very well for the bathroom. And that's 25% off at $14.99. So that's, if you're looking for something like that, I haven't seen $15 in the regular stores there. This is one that really comes in handy, in my opinion. If you've ever put sheets on a bed in an RV, you know it's a bit of a job. They don't stay on. I've gotten the regular suspenders that just go straight across, and those never seem to hold that well. So the 3-way here is going to give you a much better hold on it. And hopefully after you get your sheet on, you don't have to worry about it constantly falling off on you. So at 20% off, you really can't beat $8 for something like that. Another item that comes in handy is cleanup. You can have different types of brooms and stuff like that. This one was on Prime Day. Let me see if it's better in a different color. Yeah, okay. So in your different colors, you can get a little better. So there's a few different colors that have it less. The thing I like about this particular one is it's got this section here that you can run through, because what always happens to me when I'm sweeping up is half the dirt I'm sweeping up ends up on the broom, and I end up having to deal with that later. So this is kind of nice to be able to pull that up. $20 is not a bad price for a set that's a broom and dustpan and clean your broom off all in one motion there. So I definitely would go with that. Your door covers, we have one that we've shown previously. This particular one, the reason I like this one that they're advertising is that you can actually have it, it's got magnetic strips in it, so you can pull it up to different levels as opposed to just having it on or off. So you can actually have it at 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, or all the way. So that gives you a lot of options, and 50% off isn't a lot off, but it still brings it down to $20. So that's not that much to get some privacy in your door window there. This other one I definitely came across and really piqued my interest, because I've done like a lot of y'all have for not just the blackout current, but for heat. We know in the summer, a lot of your heat is lost through your windows. And I've done like everyone else with the Reflexix and cut it to size and gotten some Velcro to try to put it up and everything. And while it's worked some, it's kind of piecemeal on that. This 100% blackout window cover has had great reviews. It has magnets so it can go together, and you can get it to size, but the blackout also is, as you can see, is a little bit reflective on the other side here. So it's going to take out some of the heat as well as the light on there. So this is a nice little thing that I think we're going to pick up in the near future, probably before Prime Day tomorrow ends, because right now it's 37% off. So they're going to do this and see how that holds up compared to the Reflexix that you cut to size as well there. Then the wall charger, we've gotten this before, and it's been great in our RV. I especially like the fact that it's got the USB. It's got the 3 USB-A or the C. I only plug one of these or two of these USB at the time, and then you got the regular plugs. And that right now is basically a third off at $9.48. That's better than what I got it for. You see there's different setups. You can get it with a nightlight if you want. I didn't do the nightlight because it's in our bedroom, but you could do that route. And it's not on Prime in the other versions, but the one we got is in Prime. And it's got a surge protector built in there, so that's always nice. So at $9.48, you can't beat that. Your other items that we have dealing with in the bathroom, we've gotten this setup previously. It's suction cup. It gives you a lot of different shelving area for your soap, any of your other personal hygiene. It's got the hook system here. Nice. You could use it in the kitchen for organizing as well. We've used it in the bathroom. This at 40% off. It's normally $30. You're getting it for $17.99. This is a great deal because these things are very nice to have. It gives you a lot more than what comes in any shower RV I've been in. So now this one, we talked about the mat for outside the shower. This one is for your entryway for muddy paws, dogs, stuff like that. We've got the pups with us all the time. And we actually have one of these for our house for when they come in from the backyard, and they work great for getting the stuff off. So I definitely recommend that. It's a third off as well at $9.98. Well worth the dollars there. So talking about the pups, we like to be able to have the pups inside and run around inside without tearing up our screen. And the best way to do that is to have some type of protective thing. We got one that was a lot more than this, but this one looks very nice. Like we do the job to get it 20% off at $47.99. That's better than ours. Ours was much closer to 80 or 90, the one that we got on there. And this actually covers more. So if I was to go back, I probably would do this right now. Next up, for those of you that have asked about electrical in the past, a lot of people have thought about going to lithium. The great thing about lithium is you get more of the power. So if it says 50 amp or 100 amp hours like this one does, you can use almost up to the whole 100 amp hours and then recharge. Your flooded acid batteries or AGMs, you have the same 100 amp hour battery, but you don't want it to go below 50% too much. Every time it goes below 50%, it damages your battery some. So you get less time out of it. So it takes 200 amp hour traditional batteries to get to what you get with lithium here. So at a starting price here, there's a lot of them out on the market, but at $212, this is comparable to some of the regular batteries at 100 amp hours. So if you're wanting to jump into the lithium battery area, this is a good starting point. At 24% off, I definitely would go ahead and pick that up if that's what you're looking to make a jump into. So our next item here, for those of you that have the dual axle, either trailer or your bigger ones, they often recommend to get these wheel chocks to stabilize when you're set in place. This one's a third off at $31.99, so it's a great price for what you are getting if you have that need. If you don't have the axles right next to each other, then this wouldn't be for you. But for those that do, it's very helpful in keeping it stabilized, and you don't have to have necessarily the rubber chucks under your wheel there. So another thing we picked up a while back, I didn't have it on sale at the time when we picked it up, but this is 20% off at $16.78. This will help you with digital gauge for your tires. It's got both ways, your regular one, and then for your dualies where you have the tire on the inside, the stem is normally pointing inward, so you need the other way. So this gives you that, and that's 20% off. It's not a huge amount, but it's going from 20 down to 16. So if you don't have something already, now would be a good time to pick it up. I always carry fuses in your actual power box. In your RV, you have breakers and fuses. The fuses in your box for all your 12 volt stuff is these automotive fuses. So this gives me a wide variety. This is 40% off right now, so $7.98. If you're running low, I definitely would pick that up. Also nowadays, having a dash cam is becoming more of a necessity, especially with all the incidents that happen out there. This particular one, even though this is giving you front and rear, so if you're actually driving a mobile home, the rear isn't going to give you much because you're inside. But in your truck, if you're towing a towable or a fifth wheel, that might help. But even so, even with it doing front and rear at 50% off at $100, this is great. It gives you 4K, very quick download, and you actually have a parking mode, so it'll pick up if there's movement or stuff while you're parking. So great buy there. If you don't have one, I definitely would suggest getting one. Also, some of you may carry extra storage on your trailer, so you could either have it on the trailer of on the back of your trailer or a fifth wheel, or if you do like I'm going to be doing, we tow our vehicle, but my Jeep also has a hitch. So I can put this on the back hitch of the Jeep and have extra room for more stuff that doesn't fit in these small compartments I have in the RV. So at a third off, this is $200 instead of $300. If you haven't thought about that, it might be a inexpensive way of giving yourself extra storage there. So Another thing which I'd always suggest, I'm going to go with the slightly better deal here on it. This 11% off. This particular step people use as homeowner, for example, it's adjustable size. We use in our RV all the time because depending on how we level the RV, that last step out of the RV sometimes can be a large one. So we'll put this down as another step as we're stepping out of the RV. So 39% off isn't bad. Depending on what size you get, some of them are a little higher. Like this black one's just normal price, but you can still get it at a discount if you look for the right one there. So definitely go for that if you're looking for it. Some of your other items. Let's see here. So in the fans, if you're anything like me, I get hot when I'm in the RV or when I'm out camping, when I'm outside. So this is a nice little, it's power operated, so it's chargeable. You can actually use it as a battery bank as well. The remote control, it can be hung up. So it works as a normal fan, but it also has a small tank in here that you can use to fill up for 460 milliliter, and it acts as a misting fan. And at a third off, $37.99, I'm definitely going to have to look into that one on there. So there's a couple fans we had. There's that one, and then for the kids or anywhere else that you might want to adjust the space, here's your oscillating fan, but it's adjustable height. You can have it as small desk size, standing, or when you need to travel, it compacts all the way down. And that at a quarter of the normal price is really good. So instead of 45, you're getting it for 34. And it gives you a lot of different use cases for this. And as anyone knows, traveling, yes, I want to have the fans with me, but they can take up space. And this way we can pack the stuff up and not take up too much space, because space is always a premium in the RV on there. Another item, if you go to the beach or wherever else, is these wagons that fold up. This particular one is nice because it's actually a double decker. So you can have stuff up in the top section and your seats and everything else on the bottom section here to pull. So you can have your canopy, whatever else on the bottom that will fit. And it can carry a lot of stuff. You can hold up to 400 liters and 450 pounds. It's very strong, and they upgrade their wheels so they don't get stuck as much. And so right now, instead of 170, it's on sale for 140 for Prime. So that's 18% off. If you don't have one already, this is a great upgrade for that. For those of you that like the fire pit and like to add a little something extra to it, I've seen these in camping, in the actual shops and RV sites, where you can change up the color in it. If you're into that and you like that, this is almost half off at 44% off. You got $973. So it's definitely a deal to pick up if that's what you want to do. I know a lot of people that like that. One thing you can't do without on the road is a first aid kit. Whether you're driving or you're camping out, I always keep a first aid kit with us for those emergencies. This is a 300 piece survival outdoor first aid kit. So that's definitely got everything you need in there. And it's 15% off, which you may say, well, 15% is not that much, but that brings it down to $14.39. So I definitely would pick it up if you need one and you need to refill stuff in it. It's definitely worth the price there. Now, this next one that I'm getting ready to go over with you is a very unique find that I just recently found on here that gives you, if you have the dual axle like we talked about before for those X-Chalks, this is a great find for you if you're ever dealing with that type. So if you have a trailer or a fifth wheel and it's got those dual axle part, this item here is a great buy for you. It's by Camco. It's called the Trailer 8 Plus. It's a lift tandem tire trailer ramp. So what this does is you put it here and you drive up one wheel on it, and it gives it a lift of about 5.5 inches. And what that does for you is it lifts both of them up so that you can easily change, or so they claim, you can easily change a flat tire on the other one. So basically, you lightly loosen them, drive it up. It'll allow you to take the one tire off, put it back on, secure, and then back it back off on there. So allows you some where you may not be able to jack up enough to get there. And then look at this price here. You got it at 44% off at $51. If you have that type of trailer or fifth wheel, it definitely would be worth it. Ours is not that type, but I definitely would get that if we had that type there. So getting into our home stretch here. So we have a few items with camping outside, one of which is when you're eating outside, often you have to deal with the flies and everything else getting near the food. So this was a neat little camping item I saw last year. It was on sale at the time, but they're called fly fans for tables. It is rechargeable. And what it does, as you can see here, is it's spinning and it keeps the flies and stuff away from it, from where your food is. You can also use it as a power bank if you wanted to. It recharges fairly simple. It has a battery pull, or actually has for storage. You can store down. And that's a quarter off. At 26% off, you're getting $26.64. And that's for the 4-piece. They do have a sale for the 6-piece and stuff as well, so depending on how many you need. But that's definitely a deal for you there. The other item that's on sale right now is if you don't have that at the moment, but you want to go ahead and get food out and keep the bugs away, is you have these little tents, food tents, that go over top of your plates to keep food away when you have stuff outside. Now that's on sale right now for 48% off. So in essence, you're doing 50% off. So at $8.05, it's definitely worth picking up there. Another thing going with the outdoors, I know this 20% isn't a huge deal, but it is a commercial instant pop-up canopy, so you can do it by yourself. And it includes the sidewalls here. The reason why I say commercial is a big deal is because in the higher winds, they're not going to withstand every wind. But in some of the higher winds, your just standard little canopies that you get, the legs will bend. And not as much the legs, but the supports in between on the top here tend to bend. And with this type of pop-up, one, it locks into place. You got thicker legs, and the fabric easily attaches. So you end up with quite a bit of stability in there. You also end up with the sidewalls that you need. The clips into place here on the side as opposed to just the regular Velcro straps. So it's a bit more hefty for you there. So at 20% off, $191. The commercial ones we got when we were down in the Keys was a bit more than this. So at $191, that's a great deal there, even though it only says 20% off. Some people like to do the outdoor string on your lights for your campsite. If you do want to do that, this is a classic bulb aesthetic there. Looks like the old-fashioned bulbs. And at 30% off at $12.58, that's great. It's actually got 3 different ways to clip in, which is nice depending on how you're setting up. This can also be used for your backyard when you're back at your stick and bricks if you want. But that's a good deal for that if you're looking to decorate your campsite. Another good thing when it comes to not just tents, but your canopies, everything else, you can never run out of stakes. These stakes are on sale. They're 27% off for a 12-pack at $9.49. Also, if you go online, I just saw they aren't on sale yet. I just saw where they have the screw-in ones that actually you use your drill with. And I'm actually going to be looking at that, even though it's not part of the Prime Day deal yet here. So camping outside. With your camping outside, we have the individual chairs. Some people have been liking this little love seat, so you can sit with someone else at the same time. This is 31% off now, so instead of $130, you're getting it for $90. So it's a good way to increase the overall comfort in the campsite. And speaking of comfort, this last item here is an oversized chair. For those of you that are a little bigger than some of the skinny people out there, you want to feel comfortable at the campsite as well. So this one is a little oversized, so you aren't cramped in on the seat, and it'll hold up to 500 pounds. So you can actually do quite comfortably, not feel like you're stuck into that. And you don't even have to be larger, whatever. You can just like a larger seat. But as you can see, instead of 21 inch across, you got 24. So it gives you a lot. At 15% off, $76.49, that is a good deal there. So with that, I think we've hit most everything. Let's double check and see if we missed any. We have gone through quite a bit of items this Prime Day. So with that, thank you everyone so much for hanging in there with me. I appreciate every one of you for all your support. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, have a wonderful rest of the Prime Day. There's a lot of deals today and tomorrow. Get out there. And if I don't hear from you beforehand, happy camping from the pups.